Liu Kang, the champion of Mortal Kombat, perfected against all odds against Earthrealm. Mightiest mortal of all Mortal Kombat, a warrior with flame and heart like no other, the Dragon. Perfecta against Goro, Shang Tsung, and Shao Kahn. First is the Grand Regent, mightiest of the Viltrumite race, the great leader that would exceed all different odds against the case of what he felt like was the stain of the Viltrumite Empire, and is definitely the most toughest opponent that Mark Grayson Invincible would face. An interesting from a matchup that is off the basis of me having beforehand, shameless plug, and Mortal Kombat characters face a Viltrumite character, being why Katana for Zanissa is kinda close video. In today's video, I'm saying hypothetical, that in the possibility that the Viltrumite race would come upon Outworld, for instance, and try to go and invade it, could this man Liu Kang, defending the honor of the late Katana, or possibly the wounded Katana, be going out his way to face the strongest of the race, like the case of the strongest of Outworld and Truth, Shao Kahn, and face another man that would wish to go about pillaging, conquering, and devastating a plane that he would call secondary home, possibly. Could Liu Kang, defender of Earthrealm, mightiest warrior of it, and a champion of Mortal Kombat, defeat the great tyrannical powerhouse Grand Regent Thragg? Hope you guys will enjoy today's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, please leave a like, share, subscribe if you are new, and most importantly, comment. Really help me out. And as always, let's go and get it in. Liu Kang, I just want to go and specify, is not going to be from old timeline or going to be from new timeline. He's going to be from second timeline, and we're strictly using young, aka human, alive, the famed champion, the chosen one, Liu Kang. And everything I talk about and more in reference and as well on the screen is going to obviously be showcasing of that. You know, we're going to be talking about Liu Kang from all different hail, from Mortal Kombat 9 to Mortal Kombat 11, and recently it's a gentleman of, you know, the second timeline to another world era. That's an obvious from the thumbnail or what I shown. But with that being said, Liu Kang is an orphan taken in by the Lotus, aka the warriors that all hail and fight under the means of Lord Raiden, God of Thunder, protector of Earthrealm. He was taken in by the case of the Lotus, aka the White Lotus to be exact, and or the Shaolin monks, and trained from a very young age to be one built different, uncanny, crazed dragon warrior. This man trained alongside mixed reputation his cousin or childhood friend and Great Kung Lao, and trained with the descendant of the Great Kung Lao to the most efficient regard, but showcase talent and skills and basically be a prodigy of his martial arts, and as well his inept natural born gift of being the chosen one to wield fire, and with that being said, create a style built off the back of the dragon, allowing him to be able to cast fire, make fireballs, create large bodies of fire, amp his fist and kicks with fire, teleport with fire, create all different type of unique styles with fire, and is one build different individual. He's a master in nunchucks, all different other styles of different kung fu. His styles, to be exact, is obviously kung fu, jeet kune do, po chi, cholo fu, monkey style, dragon style, Wing Chun, and Ju Fong, especially because mixed bag, just him being obviously inspired by Bruce Lee or a lore. He took great inspiration from the late great dragon himself and trained in the style to mimic his hero and basically be a sly, efficient, one build different individual fighter. With these skills and all different prowess, he showcased not only great talent and was not only enamored and renowned by all the White Lotus and the Shaolin monks in the monastery, but was also chosen by Raiden to rep the banner of Earthrealm and accomplish all different realm of different reckoning house against all different form of odds against him in the battles to come. As with this being said, Liu Kang was seen to be the chosen and would go down the path of, obviously we know, besting all different type of odds, and the people that he has bested across his entire different form of, you know, accolades and resume would be Goro, Scorpion, and Quan Chi, both at the same time. Besting said to be the greatest creation of Shao Kahn, Ermac, a warrior with over thousands to hundreds of thousands of souls, even with King Jared, late great father of Princess Katana, love interest of Liu Kang, who he also beat when she was trying to go about killing him. He would also go about defeating, obviously, Shang Tsung, and greater in the future would go about defeating the case of Shao Kahn after he killed his childhood best friend, Kung Lao, that bastard, But as well, he would showcase capability to the best Gearus, while mildly mixed back, holding back. Gearus has always been a jobber. He has defeated Scorpion not once but twice. He's been able to stalemate against Raiden and survive blows against him, and even be able to somehow, stand decently by all different record against him when he was corrupted and amped by the medallion. And even though obviously Raiden was not trying to actually go about greater A killing him and his original ending as a person, and as well obviously mixed talk of like conflicted this and not full going out this, the fact that it matters that Raiden in comparison is not only ridiculously powerful, and someone like Liu Kang, even if you want to say is not on the same level as Raiden, as I agree with, and obviously I could just simply say with my tier list about Mortal Kombat, shameless plug, go check it out if you would like, in my Mortal Kombat Power Scaling tier list, this is where this version of Liu Kang would most consistently be human base default, baseline capabilities as a person. But the fact is that, again, we're standing toe to toe and bang for bang against this man Raiden, to an extent corrupted or conflicted, and being the highest grand scope, combatant in Hell. The fact that, Liu Kang felt confident that if he was there with all the combatants that died by Sindel's hand, he could have stopped her or at least done something. Liu Kang showcased multiple times to be ridiculously revered, pair for pair, bang for bang fighter. And at the end of the day, Liu Kang is one motherfucker not to be trifled with. When it comes down to what his AP would be off of this, because of the fact of being the chosen one, the man said to be able to defeat Shao Kahn, and he showcased relativation to Shao Kahn, to be able to hurt Shao Kahn and best him, and is definitely relative to him. Goes same with Shao Kahn. I would like to say that he does have the argument for being a man because of that, and in comparison to others, you can low end from, defeating Scorpion, defeating other people that should be in the mixed scale to that, and being over people that scale under to even, to that. You could easily say he's in the city level matter of AP to multi-city, or you could get him to me consistently, congruently, reasonably by all claim to be reasonably, not only on the stuff of being a planetary level threat, but opinionary perceived if Liu Kang could ever dare stand to the highest margin of power with Shao Kahn, and even dare stand to Raiden in some way, as they have seemed to be mixed relative throughout the ages. And as well, Liu Kang, young and human, would be over his Revenant self, and the Revenant self has been able to not only hurt this man Raiden multiple times throughout the time. He's reasonable to say he's at least a planetary level individual without a doubt, and has a lot of consistent shining of being that. And if you wanted to mix stretch, you could, which is the highest end thing, which is the thing that I would say is undeniably just werehog level of stretching, which is where this man could be a universal person with the merging of Outworld and, Earth Realm, two bodies that are both universes, which would reasonably be a universal plus amp for someone like Shao Kahn possibly. And with that being said, him taking that power and Liu Kang feeling confident to be able to face him, even if it is in anger, is something to be argued. Could be something. Again, I don't believe that. That's just if you want to take that higher end statement. With that being said, though, his abilities, besides obviously, just with the fire stuff, he can turn into a dragon, he can summon different pools of fire, he has everlasting amounts of fire, has a lot of techniques, again, from the bicycle kick that he learned from Grable Raicho. He has the dragon kick that's extremely flying. He's very diverse. That is my fucking doorbell. You gotta love that. But besides that, yeah, that is Liu Kang of Mortal Kombat. But now let's go and talk about the Grand Region of Invincible. Grand Region, a being like none ever seen before in the Invincible universe. Smart, calculated, badass, a fate akin to Freddie Mercury, Mama himself, the big Dunzel of the Invincible universe. Strong as Viltrumite. I've talked about Invincible multiple times, showcased different power skin trailers, talked about this man Thragg a little bit, but so explanatory. Every form of greater height of physical acclaimed feat of almost every form of different Invincible character, Thragg would be top dog against. Fast, calculated, washes multiple people, is able to beat down a lot of different people of his own race, and as well has been able to scourge and run through multiple different forms of Ragnars, people that are pretty much the form of Doomsdays to the Viltrumites, and as well, has been able to bang out with Battle Beast, who easily at one point was like second to like top 5 strongest dude in the verse. As a Viltrumite, has super speed, super strength, flight, super durability, enhanced reflexes, a technical resilient healing factor. He's very strong, very crazy, powerful, is ruthless, the Khotun Khan of the verse, and I cannot wait to see this man in season 4. If this man is not voiced properly or does not have a peak fade, I'm about to crash out. It is what it is. Besides that, though, when it comes down to the actual power scaling of this, because of the fact that he scales over a lot of the large greater majority of Viltrumites, what is being said, he reasonably would scale from, the most consistent strong stand would be easily from like the lower tiers of the Viltrumites being possibly Moon to multi-continental. He would easily be a small planetary individual, but be more consistent from that with multi-continental to, obviously small planetary. He would reasonably be easily a, great A planetary to even large planetary. And if you believe that most of the Viltrumites consistently are small planetary to planetary, he easily with a large planetary like yield. And to me, I would say most concretely, he's easily from, again, that small planetary plus to large planetary. Easily a planetary threat is, again, said to be the strongest of the Viltrumites. And from the upper scaling of, Mark, Omni-Man, this is most consistent, most concrete. And I feel like very much reasonable. The highest you could get him is saying like some dwarf star level, some higher scope stuff that can maybe be mixed both, some partial mixed credence of saying that these weapons are not on the level to kill a Viltrumite off of name, but isn't really actually considerable and is more statements heavy and not actual feats demonstration, which is obviously what I'm going to go off because that is actually what matters in this case. So with that being said, when it comes down to his, skill, accolades, and different stuff, because of, Viltrumites having different talk of being just masters of general hand-to-hand combat and what he's been seen to be demonstrating in different form of comics, and as well just by the general curriculum of what most Viltrumites case of the martial arts category is, he will be a decent practitioner in boxing, kickboxing, and Muay Thai, possibly more by him being bred to be a grade A behemoth, to be the best Viltrumite warrior with skill and power refined in almost every way possible. He most likely would be able to best every person easily in the case of different martial arts skill. And if you want to say that, he's a master in every form of combat thing known, he would be to most highest guaranteed, weight of power with that being said. So yeah, that's simply put, just have, by just concept of being again a master in all of hand-to-hand combat. When it comes down to the case of, his speed as in comparison to Liu Kang, who, a man generally did kind of like half forget to go on speed about, but it's mainly because I want to talk about how much that speed will be of relativization here, and I'm hoping that speed is obvious in comparison to like my tier list, but simply put, Thragg, right? Because of a character like Alan being able to travel across the universe in a very, small finite amount of time, obviously iconically known as iconic, speed feat, going to a whole different galaxy that would be taking him in real reality for a human millions of light years of time. He was able to do that in a small amount of time, being like a few days to a week. And as well, there's this man scaling to multiple Viltrumites, scaling over, scaling to Mark. This would reasonably get him in the multiple times massively faster than light scale pretty casually. With that being said, when it comes down to Liu Kang comparison to Thragg, I would like to say that not only is this fight going to be one bloody hell of a clash of titans like fight, but it definitely would be a fight that would take the utmost out of Liu Kang and definitely be a very interesting thing for Thragg. Right, this would be not only a fight of a colossal figure versus a smaller champion, but the fight I definitely think if in an even ground scenario, aka them both fighting on general feet stand and fighting pit for pit, bang for bang, would be interesting. Liu Kang easily from scaling over multiple different crossovers, different characters, would be reasonably in that talk of being a multiple times massively faster than light dude. He easily pushes light. His stuff scales to a person that should have distortion of that. He faces Raiden, who literally is a god of thunder, uses electricity, lightning, all that shit, right? So I think easily they're very, relative if we talk about speed. From AP, that is where it gets entirely different, as you see Thragg easily, because of the fact of him scaling over multiple different echelon of people in the planetary scale thing, would be reasonably above Liu Kang in a consistent regard. Even if you want to think that Liu Kang isn't so far off that he couldn't fight him, and his martial arts and reaction time would be something of effort. A lot of what Liu Kang would be throwing at Thragg would literally just bounce off of him, and the more he keeps hitting him, the more likely he is to look like Omni-Man, with literally cracking his whole forearm, his whole wrist, and just multiple times injuring himself. And as soon as this man Thragg gets a good hit on this man Liu, he's going to burst him open like a balloon. It's not even going to be funny how bad it's about to look for Liu Kang. So yeah, like it would just be GG's and be the end of him most of the time. Now, if we equal, the AP confidently, that's where I feel like Liu Kang would actually have a better chance. I believe that with that being said, right, that Liu Kang having, again, that good relative all-round standing speed and great precision, his martial arts category being way longer than Thragg, regardless of how you stretch it, I would like to say that all around, this man Liu would get not only multiple times greater hits and effective, closing the speed difference, possibly for his flight, to be able to crack down on Thragg, to mix him up, to piece him up in ways that Thragg could even react to, and from that, would be able to set him up with a lot of his different iconic techniques. I think with a lot of his techniques, they would be out of the zone for what Thragg has faced. He would be entirely demonstrably built different as a fighter than what Thragg has ever expected to face. I think Liu, because of his experience fighting people of reasonably way more stronger caliber than Thragg in a lot of ways, regardless of it be magic, hacks, accolade, and just how he's went about stuff. Again, even if originally the AP is not equal, just off of like a catalog and scaling, I think would be beyond him. I think a lot of his shit could break down the greater resilient skin of Thragg, and I think all around in the end that Thragg would get put down most of the time by Liu Kang's not only superior skill, superior scaling chain, just a better resume, accolades. I feel like in a combat effectiveness from a battle IQ, just as a strategist and combatant, Liu Kang is just way better. And the only way I can really see Thragg winning is if he would again severely get a great hit on Liu Kang and really start pummeling him down using his superior, possible, mobility and agility with his flight and, resilience to break down and get around Liu, even if Liu has faced people that should be able to do similar stuff to way more wacky stuff than Thragg. And if, his highest end, Thragg would get a great, clinch on Liu, and with his possible knowing of maybe some grappling, wrestling, submission, whatever fuck, would power bomb the fuck out of Liu and lift him up and just spear him out to space and like chuck him into orbit. That's the only way I can see that happening. But even though Thragg has never faced on a planet where that was his objective to just full on glorify win, even with against Battle Beast, where because obviously Battle Beast mildly being a different type of animal than Liu in a possible fight, I would say that he didn't even try anything of that sort, and he just went about banging it out. He went and just squabbled up. So it's not only not in character, but I don't even say that being able to work with Liu. And again, Liu just hacks and versatility. It's just beyond Thragg's comprehension. So in conclusion, if we equal the stats, taking all the fact, the fact that they are pretty much, I would say, very much comparable when it comes down to a speed talk, I would say when you equal the AP, that Thragg will all round get banged down, get light the fuck up, get pieced up by the champion of Mortal Kombat, and there's not a lot of what this man Thragg can really do to win the battle, in my opinion. But let me know what y'all think. That's my opinion. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, mommy. Love y'all.